Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do this story all at one time, one take. I didn't film anything the day that this happened, so I'm just going to get kind of a summary in this video, and then I'll include other IVF vlogs and whatnot separately, because this is crazy. And yes, somebody actually did steal our sperm. This is not clickbait. We can't get it. This is true. So what happened is we had ordered sperm, a total of 6 vials. This was before our first son was born, obviously. Okay, sorry about that. Just had to move. It's really odd angle in my car. Okay, so we used 4 vials, so meaning we had 2 vials left. So obviously we kept those in storage. And those were from Manhattan Cryobank. Okay, so now we decided we wanted to use those vials. Now, Manhattan Cryobank, they actually were bought out from another company. Technically, I think it's California Cryobank, but it was kind of through Northwest Cryobank too. It's confusing. But I remember we had gotten an email talking about like shipping prices were different and something about our sperm files might not satisfy their genetic standards because it's a different company, obviously. And I was like, okay, it just said, inform your doctor that it might not, satisfy the standards, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, fine. So, I saved the emails for later. So, fast forward to now. We're going to be starting our IVF cycle around June 10th. And today is May 29th, I think, Wednesday, May 29th, 28th, something like that. So we had called the company probably about, with a 2-week time frame. It was just before Memorial Day. I tried to call them. And of course, nobody answered. And if they did answer me, they transferred me to California Cryobank. And then they said, nope, we can't help you because technically it's through Manhattan Cryobank, blah, blah, blah. And then it transferred me to another woman who was supposed to help. And I left a message and she never called me back. And I mean, this has been multiple days and she has yet to call me back. And then, so I decided, whatever, we'll just wait until recently this Tuesday, which is yesterday, because obviously there was Memorial Day, so no one was open. So I called them yesterday. And finally, I got transferred to Northwest Cryobank. Again, confusing. And they said, sorry, it's a minimum 4 to 5 day waiting period or a review period. That's important, the review period. And I goes, okay, but I need to have them soon. Like, I don't remember you informing me it's 4 to 5 days review period, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, well, there's nothing we can do about that. We'll send an expedited review. And I'm just like, the woman wouldn't answer my questions. And I hung up on her. And then I tried to call back and transferred to another person. And that person, long story short, pretty much that woman just said, because I was like, well, what is the review period for? Like, why are they getting reviewed? And she goes, well, a lot of the vials from the other company, so Manhattan Cryobank, didn't have satisfactory genetic screening or testing done. So, meaning we have to review them to make sure that they satisfy our donor catalog. And I'm like, okay, it doesn't matter because our donor, with those 2 vials, that's it. There are no more vials available. That person would not be in their catalog online. I'm like, so why do you need to review it? Oh, well, and yeah. Oh, and also then she said, which I was like, what? She said, if they don't pass the genetic screening, they won't give them to you. They won't give us the vials. So they keep them. Yeah, you're thinking ahead here. You probably know what happens. So, yeah, that's what she said. And I was like, what? Are you trying to tell me that I might not even get them back? You might not give us our vials. Well, and then she wouldn't answer me. And the woman was horrendous. She would just sit there in silence and say nothing. I'm like, excuse me, you're not answering my questions. I want to speak with somebody else. I was mad. I was sobbing. And she wouldn't let me speak to anyone else. So I was like, we were going back and forth at it. And finally, I was just like, fine, whatever. And I hung up on her. So I called my mom in tears, just sobbing. And I had no idea what to do. Okay. So I had no idea what to do. I asked my mom, and she's like, well, call your fertility clinic. Maybe they know something, they can do something, because earlier in the day we had dropped off a form for them to fill out to, release authorization for the sperm. It's just typical. And so I called them, and they were trying to call, but then the bank was closed for lunch and blah, blah, blah. So then I remembered, you know, that one horrible woman. I remember she had mentioned, oh, I spoke with this other person. And I was like, okay. So I called that woman, and that woman answered. And again, she was just like super monotone. I was like, fine, whatever. And then, so I asked her, the same questions, and I kind of got the same message from her. And she's like, oh, well, I understand. And I was just peeved at this time. And I'm like, she's like, I understand. I'm like, have you gone through IVF? Have you? No. I'm like, well, then don't say anything. And she's like, oh, well, don't let your emotions get involved. Wait to see about the review period, if they'll give it to you. And I was like, no. I was mad. And then she confirmed that, yes, we might not get our sperm vials back. And I was enraged. And there's nothing I can do. She's like, well, we sent it for an expedited review. We'll see. You just have to wait the 4 to 5 days. And I was like, whatever. Hung up on her. Mad. And then maybe like I would say maybe like 15, 20 minutes later, about 5 minutes before I went to pick up Jenna from work, I got a call. And they're like, hi, this is Andrea, the director for all 3, California Cryobank, Northwest Cryobank, and Manhattan Cryobank, the director. And she was like, oh, I just wanted to let you know that your vials, guess it? Yeah, they didn't pass. So that means right now, California Cryobank is holding our sperm, and they won't give it to us. Literally, we cannot access it, period. We bought it. We've used it for our child, and he's fine, but we can't have it back. So, she said they're filing some suit with the FDA to try to allow for, like, if people have already had children with the vials, then they'll allow, like, for siblings, but this could take months and months because it's the FDA, which is the government, so whatever. So I was like, what am I going to do? Even if you refunded us our money for those 2 vials, that's not enough because prices have gone up. It's going to be more money. And she was like, oh, well, that's fine. We'll give you 2 free vials from their cryobank, which it's okay, but now it's still limiting us to 1 cryobank, which is whatever. And they gave us like a free 90-day top level subscription, whatever, for their website. I'm like, fine, whatever. I mean, pretty much. We had to figure out within like a day or so which new donor we had to pick out. So that night, Jenna and I, while I was at work, but Jenna figured out what she did. I tried to do what I could during breaks and whatnot. And then just recently this morning, we made our decision. We picked out the donor that we wanted. And then we had to go for our teaching class, which that will be in another video. And what was I going to say? Oh, so then later in the day, I called back and I said, okay, I want to put the sperm order in, but I said, I want to make sure that 1, you're paying for overnight shipping and you're going to pay for storage for them. And the customer service lady's like, oh, I don't know. So she had to get in contact with the director. And of course, she did. Got a call back. Yes, she said that that's fine. We will ship them overnight. We'll pay for the first year of storage and everything for free. And I was like, fine. Order my 2 vials. Ship them. I forced them to ship it overnight, which is expensive. So it'll arrive tomorrow. And I was just like, whatever. So I just want to kind of warn you guys, if you order sperm, if you have embryos, eggs, whatever you have frozen, make sure that you read the terms and conditions for your cryobank or whatever you have. Because a lot of them will say, if there's new genetic screening that comes out and your vials, whatever, don't pass, they can keep them. So I just want to kind of warn you guys, if you're considering having more kids in the future and, you're ever involved in this situation, even if you just, have there's new genetic screening or they get an email or something like your company's bought out, call them. Tell them you want the genetic screening now way before you even start because you need to know way ahead of time so you can prepare better and not have to do a last minute finding a new donor because it wasn't easy. So that's my story of the cryobank stealing our sperm. Great. So yes, we were still going to continue with IVF. Everything is all good. So now I will talk with you more in the next video. Bye. Oh. So that is it. And I'm wondering, has this ever happened to you guys? Or do you know if this happened to anyone? I'm just curious if we're the only ones. I don't know. But anyways, leave comments down below. What do you think of this process? Do you think it should be illegal or what? Because I'm pretty sure this should be illegal. But it's not, apparently. So we will have more vlogs coming up soon with IVF, life in general, and whatnot. June is going to be crazy. I'm going to go crazy the whole month. A lot's happening. See you in the next video. Bye!
There's no way you get into my heart. Someone told me, gotta move.